Hey everybody, this is DayTraderRockStar, and this is the high probability watch list for the last week of February. We're going to start off February 29th. Pretty much the last day of February starts off on Monday. You know what? This could even be considered a little bit of end of the month, rebalancing portfolio, window dressing. Sometimes that happens, mostly at the end of quarters, but sometimes even at the end of months. Again, the 29th here, February 29th, the last day of the month, which will be on Monday. So we're going to kick things off. Last week we were at the trade show. It was a great time. I just want to thank everyone out there who might be listening to this, came out and visited us, helped out, just tremendous weekend, and we're glad to be back here. Trading's been great. And Paul's on the mic right now. I'm here on Friday, doing the research, mostly on the setups for next week. We're going to do the market radar. We're going to review. We're going to do. The Rambot has been killing it. It's been just really causing a lot of buzz in the markets. I'm getting a lot of contacts from a lot of other sites, and people are very interested in what's going on here at Day Trading Radio. So keep it tuned in here each week, as you can see right now. I'm not broadcasting. Paul's broadcasting his charts, and I actually think he shut the site off because we're going to start doing a rule here, because we've been just killing it on these signals that we're going to be taking the trades, and for every, if we hit 3 positive trades on the Rambot, we're going to switch over to members only mode. So be sure you log in and check out the show early in the session and next week, because that's where you're going to see a lot of the trading happening as these trades come out, and we take those and we profit on them. Then we're going to just, kind of shut it off on the outside, keep it for the members, and continue to just let you focus on these setups that we've been doing. And of course, you get full, you'll never miss a minute of the show if you are a member, so definitely take advantage of that. So let's start it off right now. What we normally do, and again, we had so much going on last week. Last week, or the week before the trade show, I put out a tremendous watch list, an HPS, what we call an HPS watch list, and this is basically all the stocks that we put on that. It was a lot, and it was almost an unbelievable week. All these stocks that actually hit their targets. Johnson & Johnson actually continued to push higher. I'm still holding that. That actually pulled back and automatically triggered its stop. But, I sent out a note saying that I really want to continue to hold that Johnson & Johnson. The BCR, the same thing. I'm going to go over some of these. What's great about this setup, and again, this is on the back end. This is on the members side of things. Every week we send out a group of stocks, and they have their buy signals, their sell signals, their stops, and everything involved in it. And this is what it basically looks like. So here's an example right now. And again, this is Liberty Global Media. And again, lots of the setups you're going to see are based off what we call high probability patterns. And that's what you're going to get here. You're going to get really a standardized thing. You're not going to see anything changing from week to week. We're going to only give you the best setups. If they're not a high probability setup, then they're not going to end up on the list. And if they're not, if there's nothing really showing up, I'm not going to force you to look at things that are not setting up. We want to just concentrate and be so disciplined and so focused in our trade that we want to just take the trades that are perfect. The highest probability trades. There's not much more I could say on that. If they're not a high probability trade and you take that trade, I consider that gambling, a little bit more of a risky trade. So as these, anything that you see on this week's watch list, which is going to be coming up next, it's going to be basically the same type of patterns. And you're going to take a look at how these patterns play out and explain use this video right now as an example of a great educational portion of this video, is just a review of all these setups from 2 weeks ago, which are finally, they're all hitting their targets, basically. So they're going to be taken off for next week. We've taken out a lot of these profits today over the last couple of days. So these stocks are not going to be on the watch list next week. We're going to have some new ones. So we're going to use this as just kind of a little education. Now, this was what we call divergence. The lower low, the higher low. You can see the move right up into our profit zone. as a member, you would get the buy zone once it hits. Actually, you get this in a video like you're getting right now. So you would understand where you want to buy this stock, the buy zone. You also want to know where you want to sell that stock, and also where you want to put that stop. So that's all included on the video and all included on this thing. And this is all programmed into the back end of DTR platform, meaning when these levels get hit, you could automatically get sent an email, an update on where the price is and everything. And a lot of these reason we look at a divergence like this and a push back up, you can see the retracement trend line and look at how the price is, kind of stalling out here. Now, it doesn't mean that we're not going to go higher here, which I think is probably a good shot because some of these are quality names, and we're going to go back on this. But I just want to show you this was a divergence setup. This is the kind of reaction you're going to get from that. Let's go to the next one. We're going to just go through these real fast. Joe is still active, and I'm going to actually show this one for you, even though it is still an active stock, so the members still have that. This one, of course, as you can see, triggered because we're in this zone right here. And we haven't gotten up here. And I'm looking for potential profit. It's a nice profit zone up here. This is a little bit more difficult. It's a coffee ETF. But I like that we have the channel line here. There's some interesting things. It's a higher risk trade. It doesn't move around that much. So it's not my favorite, but it does have the characteristics of an HPS zone, the recognizable pattern, the oversold stochastic setup here. And it looks like a decent risk-reward trade. It's not the best bet by far. We'll talk more about best bets in a bit. Yum Brands was just perfect. We traded that. We took profits on that. Again, you can see this downward channel, the oversold level, the recognizable pattern. It's a 5 to 7 day pullback also, which is a technique that I use, and it's on the video. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once we pulled back about 5 days after that gap down, we got ourselves oversold. The trend line underneath us is a great level, and the profit area above us is key too. Now take a look at this, and you can see we moved right up into our profit zone. We took that price off, and now it's consolidating. Now the consolidation is good. It probably has some more upside, but that's for a later video. Now, as I watch this over here, I'm going over here, and as you can see here, I'm just looking at the futures, and we're also trading the futures after we do this. Look at these traders in the room, man. Wow, really impressive. A lot of people taking these trades to the upside off of these signals and to the downsides off the short. Let me put in the short setups here too. There was a short signal at 11 o'clock right here. There was a short signal. There was a short signal right here. There was and then there was a visual divergence right here, which I think a lot of people caught on that trend line. And then there was, I think that's it for now. There was a couple other ones probably earlier in the day. Now, you're going to see we actually, right while I'm doing this, I don't know if you heard it, but we just got a sell divergence here. And I want to try to bring this over here so you can actually see what happens. Now, this is on my back end here, but you're going to see up here, that was our latest alert here. Now, watch what happens here and see if you can actually hear this. I don't know if you can hear it or not. You probably won't hear it. Let me put this over here like this.
DTR Rambot signal.
Yeah, all right. And then you see here, the Rambot signal came up. We just triggered that. And, well, we'll let that play out there. But that's always going on in the chat room and on the trade alert box. Let's go back to the trades we are concentrating on the HPS and get back to that educational portion of this, because I cannot do two things at once right now. But so that's that was the setup in Yum Brands. We took profits on that. Great setup. Fantastic setup. All right, Darden Restaurants, again, that was the best bets. The best bets were Brinker and Darden Restaurants. It was very, I typically, when I put out these videos, I will announce a best bet, my best bet going into next week, or the week that we're coming up to. In this case, it was Darden and Brinker. And you could see, look at this thing. Look at that thing rip right off of our buy zone. Didn't even challenge our stop. We just took this for a ride. Perfect. Absolutely fantastic. Even right now, it looks like maybe even a kind of a reversal candle. I mean, you have an argument here for a sell side here, or a little sell signal. There's some things that we want to pay attention to on this. And again, I'll go on that on the updated video. DRI, I'll write it down right now so we can go back to that. And again, the same thing. This is what we call a X marks the spot zone. It's where two trend lines intersect. And when you get that intersection with a reversal candle, oversold stochastics, that's multiple indicators lining up. Multiple indicators off the HPS methodology represents, 5 indicators. We want 3 out of 5 setting up, lining up. And once we have those, your trade is good to go. It's important to have that reversal candle to apply your stop underneath it. And, this is the reaction. MetLife here. Boom. Let's see what happened here in MetLife. Had that trade. Boom. Again. And look where it is today. It's actually at the top part of the profit with even a higher potential. So I even put a note out here. Even though the target is 39 to 40.50, I do believe there's actually a bigger potential because this is inside of a much bigger channel. And you can see that channel right there. And if you're on the site and you're looking at this, there's up in the upper right hand corner of this chart, you can make it live. Click on that. It'll go to this. We'll allow that, and you can actually see where things are lining up and currently at. And there's a lot of other information that you could get, news and stuff, all based off of these that chart. So you can see there was a slight lane divergence back down here that I noted. We popped back up above that channel line. And one of the rules that I use is when we have that big 1, 2, 3 pattern. You can see up here that pivot area started up there, came down to here, bounced back up, and once you have that, you draw that parallel trend line. And even if you break down through it, it's still an important trend line. Now you can trade around it. We happen to catch this as it popped back up into this, and whenever we pop back into a channel,
all right. So just getting some lunch here. Just notice it.
That's Paul in the background. I'm gonna mute that for a second. I didn't realize he was not talking. Oh, where am I going to go with this now? All right, so we're going to go back to the HPS area here. Again, you can see the results. I just wanted to show you that little trick that you could use to get some more information using these charts. All right, we could go right down the line. Again, just in kind of an educational review here of what we look for and why we're looking for. Now this, Cabela's, just a nice setup. A very tight stop here. And this is a stock I've traded over and over again. And as you can see, some of the older alerts that we've taken, the buy zones up here. Here we had a nice one. Ran up. And then this is another one. We had a trade down here in that gap down. Look at that thing rounding back up. And this recently right here. The buy zone right there. So, and there we are right there. So that has completed its journey. And a lot of these stocks extended, extended. So, for for going into next week, we're gonna, have a new group of stocks. But, a lot of these stocks are going to be out of the range of what we normally look for our entries. So we're going to have to find some new ones, or even possibly even some shorts. And the list goes on and on. Again, the common denominator on a lot of these stocks is the patterns in the HPS zones here. Here we have a classic divergence. This is one of the more textbook divergence, the gap down, the higher low, the buy zone, and everything that goes along with that. And boom, look at that move. Perfect. So that's what you're going to look for. That's what you're going to continue to get. I'll just open that up again by mistake. I'm going to close that. And again, Brinker was one of the best bets. Had this also. We took profits. And again, this is when we break down out of a channel, come back into the channel, and then expect that channel to hold. Once I saw this one candle here hold, this big hammer, combined with this candle, these two candles, we want to put our stop right under that big candle, take that position right in this zone, profit zone. Measured out. We like to measure these things out using the real-time indicators. I like to use stochastic rotation. So the one thing that this doesn't do is update it, so you have to go to that Make It Live to get an update on the stochastic rotation. So go to the top of that chart, and as you can see now, that rotation brought us all the way back up here. And look at that candlestick today. Perfect area to take profits and possibly a short here. A short, going into next week. Very possible. Now, I got some good stocks that I'm seeing out of the corner of my eye starting to move up, and I want to try to get this video moving along so we can start talking about the new setups, because I got into some new setups today. If you're in the room and in the trade alert box, you've seen those trades come across that box there. As you can see, the best bet of the week with DRI, great HPS setups, trendline retracement, nice reversal candle, traded back into its channel. All the characteristics of a trade. Over time, you will you'll become more familiar with this style of trading. It's really organized. It's very mathematical and logical, and that's important in the trades because it kind of keeps the emotions out of the trade. We want to have that reversal candle to establish a stop. And, we have a very high percentage win ratio when we have these setups. So it's just a matter of waiting for them. If you don't wait for them, then you just take on a little bit more risk. And that's just a simple fact of the trade. You're not going to find much anything better than this, honestly. Honestly, if there was, I would be trading it, and I've been trading since 1996. So it all comes down to probabilities. What's your best one? And again, I talked about this at the trade show. And there's so many analogies you could use, but just like anything, it's not an exact science. Stocks move on news, and you don't have them the exact levels. You're not going to nail it to the penny, but you're going to have a great level to start to work off of. And just like a pitcher, or just like a batter standing in the batter's box, if the count comes in your favor, you have a better shot of looking for a pitch and keying in on it and taking that trade. You're going to have more confidence in the trade. The same thing with poker or blackjack. You get a good hand, you can still get a bad beat, but the odds of you winning are much better. So you have to wait for your opportunity, no matter what you do. Anything that you do, you have to wait for the best opportunity to take that shot. And when you have that shot, that's when you have to have the confidence to step in there. Now, we've been seeing that happen all this week with the traders in the room because they've been becoming very confident in the trade bot. So it's a good thing to see. Now, we're already 18 minutes into this, and I haven't even gotten into a lot of other research yet, but I think this is important too. All right. CSX, again, some other stocks. This was all right, we're going to just jump back here. These are some. Let me see if we can see anything that's more interesting. Now, the Johnson & Johnson did stop out, and again, it's good to have this on your board because if you have the Johnson & Johnson here, we very rarely chase a stock and look for some more upside. But in this case, as you can see, it chopped around a little and pulled back, and I said, you know what? We don't usually chase a stock. We wait for that stock to pull back and then get in, and now I'll take a look at it. So really a nice setup here on Johnson & Johnson. Still looks very good. Still holding some Johnson & Johnson. Micron, I'll tell you right now, this is going to be on the second part of the video for the members, but I will mention it right now. Micron. It's one of my favorites going forward. I think we get back up above $12 very fast. I think we get through this trend line, and we make, again, possibly even getting up towards that $13 level. Right now, we have a small little channel that's developing. We got a low, a higher low, and we're in positive territory. And I've added to it today. I've been added to it last week. I have a pretty big position in it now, And I think we could get back above $12 on our way to $13. We'll talk more about that one in a bit. Nielsen, CBS, Disney, VFC. The list goes long and on here. Even the shorts, we have a good short. Now, this short was from a few weeks ago, and again, the same situation. You have the opposite. Sometimes we look at a pullback and a divergence, but what if we have a nice rip and we come up to an old trend line? So we look at that short zone at 128, 129, stop 131, profit zone 126 to 124, possibly even more. And this actually pulled right back down. And it took its profit, it hit its triggers, it hit its target. The email went out that trade is closed, and as you can see, it moved back up here. But now it's probably setting up for another short, and this might be actually a short on the watch list this week. KMB, that's not bad. I'm going to take a look at that right now. We're going to actually jump over to the other charts and keep an eye out for the more alerts. We had that alert at 1229, right about here. So we have this pretty decent divergence, short alert here. We pushed up a little further off of that, but now we're starting to rotate back down a little. I'm not in this trade right now. I'm going to wait for something to show up, and maybe we could take a live trade on this video with you, but nothing that I'm paying attention to right now. But I wanted to take a look at this Kimberly-Clark. That actually looks like an interesting short. KMB. Yeah, that's through that trend line. A pretty decent candle. This thing has been grinding up here pretty strong. Looks like I'm going to have to take this. I'm going to have to take this short, I think. I like it. I like it. All right, so I just got a little short there on a KMB. That trade alert's in the box. All right, so let's go to the next section here. And I want to just go over and kind of do this market radar. And a market radar here is something I also put out once a week, just talking about. We can do it multiple times a week. I like to do midweek market radar too, but we do definitely send one out looking at the upcoming week. So I start off with the SPX here and as the S&P, and we go over the multiple time frames. And as you can see, this daily time frame is extended back up here. We're back into overbought levels. The nice pullback here was a nice bounce. The recognizable channels have been working out great. We're up against the 50-period moving average. A little doji here starting to form. Kind of a spinning top. I try to keep personal opinions out of it, so we look at more technical levels and just see how things are going. But it's important also to add a little trader intuition to it. Now, markets have been strong, and a lot of people don't believe that we could actually return right back up. I follow all kinds of news and things, and you can't help but hear analysts out there. But this market has been strong. It's been strong, and there's a reason I'm not too short. I do have a little hedge on some SPY puts, and I just took that little short here in the Canby, but the majority positions are long and kind of managing it that way. If we take a look at that 5-minute chart, we could see a slight move back down. Not much of one, but a slight move back down, and this is what we call like a kind of a negative price divergence. The stochastics here rotating back up. Price here is moving back down. This tends to turn over, and this will drop out. But this is, again, such a short. Let's see, we'll watch it as I'm doing this. I'll watch it as we're doing this video here. I'm watching some of the news out here also just going by, so I apologize from that. All right, some political news going Governor Christie endorses Donald Trump for president. That's just crossed the wire right there. I thought Donald was announcing Christie to be his running mate, but he's being endorsed by Christie. Anyway, we'll move on from that. Just a little news item. And again, we're going to talk about the multiple time frames. So that daily, extended, the hourly, possibly starting to roll over. I'd be concerned about this hourly going into next week. We pushed through this 1950 area, and earlier this week I said that's a good level to watch this market ramp up to. But so many people expecting bullishness above 1950. Now, lots of times the market reads into that and says, all right, everyone's looking at 1950 as a bullish area. We're going to pop that. People are going to get on board, and we're going to trap them. We're going to roll over. I see it all the time. So I'm very cautious when we start to see that. The indicators tell us that we're kind of extended. We have multiple time frames. Pointing to a pullback. Remember that, it's not a, back down to the lows or whatever, but we're talking just short-term opportunities in the market. And because the daily and the hourly are set up, there's a better shot that we kind of rotate back. And, we can start to see maybe a little crossover here. It doesn't mean we're going to do it. We could still chop around here above the 80 level. We could pull back a little, pop around, and chop around. It happens. But there is a better shot of that. So that's why, maybe a couple hedges to the downside just to take that into consideration. The market, flattens out here. We continue to push higher, which I think is definitely a possibility. And I'm kind of on the fence on both ways. I don't want to be too short. I think we have more upside. But there might be a little downside here on the 60-minute time frame. And if we could just kind of capture a little downside and make a little profit off of that's great. But I would say that I'm kind of leaning to an upside push a little bit more. So that's our multiple time frames. No real big divergences on the chart. The weekly here is actually. We'll take a look at that weekly. Stop the presses here a second. The weekly actually might have a divergence. I need to clean this up a little for a second. So let me clean this up and come back. Last time we looked at this, we were focused on this 200 EMA, and so we'll watch it. Two big candlesticks. And, effectively, that candle right here, taking out the recent candle, you have a slight downward move here. And what do you have here? A slight upward move. You have a weekly divergence playing out in the market. Very powerful time frame. Not something that comes up and shows up too often. But you do have it. You have that weekly divergence setting up. That needs to be considered. And that 5-minute and daily here could easily stay embedded, with that weekly on its side. All right, so just to wrap up this section of the video, and then we're going to go on to the watch list. We just took profits in Chipotle Mexican Grill, but took a nice profit. We picked up some calls on this for a scalp. We got about $270 on just on 3 calls. Doubled the money, doubled the fun. But it still looks good. If we take a look at that daily, it looks like a possible flag. We'll pull back to the 20-period moving average. Oh, we just got an alert there. And we should see if that sets up here soon. Should be interesting. We just had a buy signal here, and I had some people off of that 1948 level, and it's up to 1950. So nice 2-point bounce off that last signal. And, I kind of like this for a move back up a little next week. So it's going to be an interesting one. I like that we had that higher low. We're pulling back. Sometimes when we start to establish these higher stochastic rotations where we pull back, but this overall tells us that there might be a longer trend developing. Now it's not the best setup here. It's a stock that's been, the stock has been really crushed recently, but this looks a very interesting trade. So we'll be watching this one closely next week. Again, Micron will like it. Best Buy, Bed Bath & Beyond. Other ones are going to be on focus on the next video, plus a lot more HPS setups. I want to send this out. Don't forget to come by DTR or DayTradingRadio.com and trade with us. We have a great community of traders, and we're just racking it up today. So I'll see you on the other side. The video ends here. The member video is going out next. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday.